Welcome back to another YouTube video. This one's going to be me just breaking down my thought process in the markets. Everything that I look for before I enter a trade, how I read price action, and my top, sometimes my brain just being empty. The realistic breakdown and the realistic backtesting of the markets. That's what this is going to be. Let's get right into the video. So we're on NASDAQ and I just picked a random timing. I'm on the monthly, right? And the monthly is extremely important. I think higher time frames are extremely important because you can use them to find internal range liquidity levels, or in other words, higher time frame fair value gaps. And higher time frame fair value gaps help you with your trading way too much, okay? So in this case, I'm looking at these two monthly fair value gaps that we can possibly trade into before price decides to continue somewhere else. So going on a lower time frame, let's start with the weekly. Not much to be seen here other than just a bunch of accumulation, just a bunch of up and down move. We can look at these two equal highs up here as well. So having those marked down is going to help us. On the daily, we can see the market is kind of in a range, right? And other than everything else, we also have this little volume imbalance down here, and everything here is signaling towards us that a shift in direction is coming. And I want to draw a box on this weekly inversion that we just created. And also, paying it, if you pay attention, this right here is enough to tell us that we're shifting direction lower. If you look at the structure of these candles, for multiple weeks, or sorry, we're on the daily, for multiple days, we came back on this fair value gap, tested it, tested it, tested it. Here, we fully tested it, closed inside, until we tried to break down but failed, and just displaced this and turn it into an inversion. Now this next day right here is Friday, this day that we're currently in, and the one I'm going to go on the lower time frame to check out. A few things to pay attention to. It is a Friday, so we could see a TGIF of price coming back inside of the level, testing it a little further more before it decides to continue lower or whatever. My draw is on this low. We could come back here, take all these highs, and then continue. We have many of them lined up. And if we don't, we are definitely going to use them as a draw on liquidity for later on. So, drawing this out, let's go on the lower time frame. So we can see a very big drop actually. On the lower time frame, it's currently 6:30 and price hasn't done a lot. We have news at 8:30, so I'm going to skip right just into news. And we can see clearly we're bullish now. We are fully bullish. And if I were in the lower time frame, I would have probably took a long here. I wish I was in the 1 minute so I could just take a long right there in front of you guys, but I'm gonna look for 9:30. Now that I've missed that little inversion long, it could have been a good higher time frame long right at this inversion. This inversion was created after this big down move swept all these lows. And what remains now is a retracement, or in other words, a distribution. So here we're moving back into that level. So in theory, trade number one could quite literally just be this right here. And I'm going to leave a long setup on that. But what I don't like about this is the fact that I have such a big stop loss. So in theory, your trade would look like this if you just want to get to R and get out. But I wouldn't take this anymore. Why? Because again, look at the range. Look at what we have to work with. It's just a 2R. I don't like it. So 9:30 opens. Watching everything it does. Looks bearish so far. Now we are shifting. Now I'm going to look to see if I can get an entry around anywhere here. No entries given. An entry could have been right here on this fair value gap, but that's not something I take. I'm gonna let this bounce to do what it wants. And I'm pretty sure this just goes to full TP and does not give an entry to us. There we go. So this could have been one single trade to take, but again, not something that I would take. I don't like having to use a big stop loss because you don't know, right? If you put your stop loss here on the rejection block, right here, you would have gotten stopped out. If you put it at the bottom of this fair value gap, you would have gotten stopped out. Down here, you would not have gotten stopped out, but it's just a 2.9 R. Now, I don't like to go for 2 Rs. That's just not my way of trading. Okay, but it could have worked. Now, moving on to the next day. Let's just skip using this. Go to the next day open. So here we are. And you can see the expansion right after that news sweep down there. It didn't give us the best entry though. So let's go into 50 minutes to monitor price. It's a Monday, so I don't expect much on Mondays, almost ever, okay? I'm waiting for the 2-day open. So we have our 2-day open now. And we are still trading inside of that inversion on the higher time frame. Don't forget that, okay? We are inside this whole box. And you're gonna see what price does. Sweeping those 2 equal highs, instantly reacting off of it, going back lower, down there. Very clean internal power tree, accumulation, manipulation, distribution right there. Now, not much to see. Pay attention, not much to see. Just the whole day is just accumulation. Moving on to the next day, which is your Tuesday. Now, Tuesdays are a little more interesting. Okay. So, let's mark out our 2-day open. I always mark the 2-day open out. Just something that I always use. So this is our 2-day open. We are inside of a range. So I'm going to mark this low right here out and this high. Now I want to see if we can get a trade from one side of the range to the other side. 9:30 opens. Price doesn't do much. Really, I don't see any entries here. We have equal highs also stacked up there. I don't see any entries for me. Okay, now we sweep the high. So we sweep the top of the range. Here I will be interested in shorts. I would have probably looked to take a short around here. But let me actually just draw out 9:30 right there. So one side of the range has been swept. I want to look at a level, something like this, to go short off of. Now, you could have went short here. If you had your stop here, you'll be very close to getting stopped out. But either way, I expect this now to just rush all the way down, just like this, to the other side of the range. Now, something interesting that I do is, we swept this side of the range, we swept this side. This sweep is a manipulation, in my opinion. And I expect this to then try to distribute all the way up there, anywhere up there. Now, I don't care what it does afterwards, but this is something that it simply could do. So let's just monitor price, going lower, digging deeper. 11 a.m. No trades for me. I don't trade trades around this time, but pretty much now we're reaching market close. And as you can see, a little up move is starting. We just let this go back in the range, and you can see that 2-day open right there acting as a magnet pretty cleanly. Now let's come to the next day. You can see how distribution right towards there actually happens, right? So now that we've distributed here, we either want to continue going higher, or we want to reverse and continue back down, cleaning those lows. It's just back and forth price action here until price decides that it wants to break out of a range. Now, we don't actually know what price wants to do. How you guess what price wants to do and how you read it is through shifts in order flow and displacements off of highs and lows that are based on premium and discount levels. So anything down here is premium, and anything, sorry, discount. And anything above here is premium. So in other words, above here, shorts, below here, longs. All I'm looking for, and you can see I predicted this from here, going all the way lower, and from this level, distributing all the way up here. It's just a pattern, and that repeats every single day. So let's go on to 15 minutes and skip time a little bit and see what the market wants to do. So I'm waiting for the casual for the open. Very slow over here. So that's our 3-day open right there. We just swept that level right there. So we swept previous day's highs. Do we want to use this to go lower? This is not a time where I look for trades, but I'm going to give this a try. Now, we did also sweep it here, but we didn't get the best displacement ever. We get a displacement, no entries for me, continuing lower to the other side. Now, let's check the hourly for a second. We are inside of a big hourly fair value gap. That's our internal range liquidity. What if we use this to bounce back? Now, we could also literally just use this fair value gap right here to break out of this range and go towards our highs. That's what the market somewhat is saying. Well, let's see if it does play out. I'm not going to look for entries much. I'm just using this to read price. I expect this to either just don't give a fuck about this fair value gap and continue lower. But what makes sense to me is that this now reaches back up here. Let's see what it does in the lower time frame on the 1 minute. Inversion. Do we respect it? It's pretty slow. I don't expect anything to move right here. It's not the right time. A lot of times your bias might be right, but time isn't right. So we have news coming at 8:30. Again, this is what the range looks like. You can see we've been moving up steadily. News. Holy news. So, damn. Just completely flushing out the market, I guess. But the draw from here to distribute towards there was right. And now, market just wants to distribute lower. That's all good. If we traded before news, we would have gotten completely destroyed. That's a lot of movement. We have multiple news. Well, let's just skip to the next day, I guess. So, this was Wednesday. Now we are on Thursday. Marking out the midnight open right here. I just literally, it's so easy to find buys just by using the midnight open and highs and lows. 9:30 opens. Sorry, this is 8:30 again, not 9:30. But again, the same concept applies to this here again. Targeting this high. Again, also just pay attention. We are still inside of our range. We are deciding if we want to continue higher or completely drop lower. So we closed out of the range of this fair value gap, and now we are inside of it. Do we want to respect that and continue lower? If we do, this is going to be the draw, and then all the way lower. If not, we could reach back up to there and then decide what the next day wants to do. So let's go on to 1 minute. Just moving forward. I want to see what 9:30 is going to do. I don't like to trade news days. Okay, so even after news, I wouldn't trade this. And as you can see, it just doesn't really offer anything. Maybe here it would. So look at this inversion. We come back to the middle of it, and we actually respect it. I kind of like this. This could be possible. And the reason being is, on news days, I expect price to take both sides of the range. And when it wants to take both sides of the range, it does so very fast. So it doesn't just respect its inverse. It just continues lower, takes the bottom of it, and continues higher. But in this case, it didn't do that. And we could also use this sweep here as a manipulation below these two lows. I just want to give this a try. And I would be interested to see if this is able to take previous day's highs. And I'm gonna play the trade the same way I play a real live trade. So after these two candles, if I were to see this on a live market, I'm break even, done. I do not want to be risking anymore. I'm just break even, done. So consider this trade break even. Do we reach up there? We do not come back to my break even, as you can see. We come very close. Not quite there. I would take partials at this level right here. So I would have partial right there. And now it's a risk-free, profit-taken trade. And I'm just going to let this continue. Do we reach previous day's low, the previous day's highs? Let's see. Price speeds up. We're pretty close. And we reached her. Pretty clean setup, don't you think? Now, as for the next day, currently we're on Thursday. Let's see what Friday does. Again, we are above in premium. So I expect this to go bearish. And also, you might be wondering why all this is happening inside of this level. It's because price is stuck between this level and this level. We are playing the same kind of strategy, the same thing, just in the higher time frame. Let's go back on the lower time frame now. That's 10R in profit force, just like that. Let's go on the 15 minutes. I'm gonna keep this drawing just because it looks sexy as fuck. And it's my video, so I do whatever I want. Now, as for Friday, previous day's highs are right here. So let's see if it does reach into those or not. True day open is right here. And I want to mark out 930. So we don't take previous day's highs, but we're suddenly just moving lower. We're just moving lower. And I'm wondering if this is going to even offer us any good setups, because so far there are no setups to be offered in here. 930 opens. I'm thinking this is just completely bearish, but I don't see anything here. And the reason I don't see anything here is because there's no clear manipulation for me to enter off of. The only kind of manipulation is this level right here, and it's just these highs. But I want this level right here. I don't trade based off of this. I'm not even online, so I don't trade that. Let's go in the 1 minute, see what 930 is doing. It's doing fuck all. Kind of reversing, 10 a.m. hits, news hits, takes that low again. Just nothing really to be seen here. Just nothing to be seen. So I'm going to use this opportunity to skip to the next day. Okay, we're moving bearish. Interesting. So again, remember what I said? Above here that's premium, and below here is discount. And we just decide to nuke from up there. Pretty interesting price action, isn't it? So Now we can go back on the 50 minutes, draw out our 9:30 little level. Sorry, I mean midnight open. And let's watch. So previous day's lows could be a really good draw on liquidity here. And the sole reason as to why I think that is because we have multiple lows here that are left. And I think that's what the draw on liquidity is. Unless we want to go back up here, I kind of doubt it though. And the reason I doubt it is because the day opened. So if we go back here to the daily candle open, which is this candle, we opened and just are continuously moving upwards. And I want to see if I can find any entries that signal to me that we want to go lower. So I'm looking at the hourly for any fair value gaps. Nothing here. 15 minutes. 15 minutes looks way too bearish. I would be interested in looking for short or anywhere around here, honestly. So I wouldn't take this on live. I'm not going to lie to you. I would not take this on live. But I'm going to put this as a forward test just right here. And the reason I want to put this as a forward test is because I'm also fucking backtesting, dumbass. And I'm trying to learn. I don't trade 5 a.m. I always only purely trade 9:30. That's just where I'm the best at. Price is just accumulating. See, this is why I always trade 9:30, but it was worth a shot as we're backtesting this together. So I will get stopped out. Let's look at 8:30. 8:30 manipulation lower, starting the distribution higher. The whole day is bullish. I don't believe this. I'm fully looking for shorts now, and I'm going to mark out 9:30. And now I'm going to be watching for any setups to see what I can get into. If I see something that I like, I'm taking that level. So here we have this level right here, and I'm pretty sure that on the higher time frame could be a fair value gap too. Yep. I'm just gonna take the 3 minutes one, but you guys could always take the sorry, I'm gonna take a 1 minute one, but you guys could always take a 3 minute one. I'm going to wait for any retracements. It does not give any retracements, just completely wants to flush lower. Let's see if we get any kind of entries here, anything. Back on the 1 minute, watching. Okay, now price gave us a good retracement into that 3 minutes fair value gap or inversion. And I'm just gonna enter right here. Putting my stop right a little above that inversion, as it shouldn't really trade up there. And I'm gonna set my take profit all the way down here. Now you might be asking, Androgen, why do you say your TP all the way down there? Because I take partials along the way. I always take partials along the way, always and always. So you see a 10R, well, you don't see the 2 or 3 partials taken through the way. Let's now continue watching price and see what it does. Respecting the inversion a little bit, and then not, and finally nuking all the way lower. So in this case, I would first break even down here. I always break even on structure breaks, or if it's a decent risk to reward, I would partial as well. But in this case, I would just break even when it's down here, because then it coming back to this level invalidates the trade idea. So your stop loss should always be where your trade is invalidated. Okay. In this case, if price reaches all the way up here, it's not really the difference between being all the way up here. So I'm just going to put it anywhere up here, even at the top of the inversion. And I'm going to partial at the midnight open. And the reason I partial at the midnight open is because it's a magnet, right? And it's an anchor of price. So every time we're below the midnight open, you want to long, and every time we're above, you want to short. Now let's see how deep this goes. My break even is all the way up there and I've partialed, so I don't really give a shit what price does anymore. We're just watching to see what it does. Speed this up a little bit. And eventually, damn. This is completely destroying our take profit. Now let's break this down a little more, guys. Okay, let's go on the 50 minutes. I'm gonna take a little, I'm gonna take the brush right here, and let's mark the 18 a.m. open, right? Okay, so the 18 a.m. open right here, that's where the candle opened, right? And if you pay attention, as soon as the candle opened, it's just been doing this, doing this, doing this. Suddenly, it gave us this. The candle opened, I don't want to put a fucking text. The candle opened, set a high in, gave us a displacement, and then it has to continue lower to set a low in. It's brilliant, isn't it? This is literally everything that I look for every single day when I'm trading. Every single day that I'm trading, this is what I look for. Now, after big movement days like this, especially since it's a Monday, I expect Tuesdays to be a little shitty. So moving on to, and it's been, how long have I been recording for? This is a 26-minute recording, but let's continue. Now, going on to the next day, waiting. I expect Tuesday to be a little shitty. We also have news, but the same concept applies to the Tuesday. And I was right. Holy, this is just, there's just nothing to see here. We have a daily fair value gap up here. How do I know we have a daily fair value gap? Without even checking the daily time frame. You can tell there's a clear gap between this low and this high, and I'm pretty sure if you go on the daily, that comes out as a fair value gap. And it does. Look right there. So we have a daily fair value gap, right? And now that we've respected this higher time frame daily inversion that I marked up from before, I expect price to just continue lower. So my draw on liquidity is down here. Now this daily fair value gap, it would be really good. It would be really good if it gave us this. But sometimes it doesn't give us that. And the reason behind it is order flow. If order flow is extremely bearish or extremely bullish, we're just going to leave imbalances behind. We don't give a shit about imbalances if we're too bullish or too bearish. We don't give a shit. We just want to just fucking nuke. We just want to fucking nuke. Just nuke. Literally just nuke. So, if we also, actually no, I forgot what I was going to say. Let's watch the price action now. Let's zoom in a little bit. Bam. Isn't that interesting? But it's a horrible timing, so no trades for me there. Nothing I would have taken there. And that's our midnight open. Now, is price going to retrace higher? It retraces somewhat. Connection lost. I don't know what it is with my FX replay lately. But it gave me an opportunity to get some water in. Do we retrace into, sir? I'm at 15 minutes. So it seems like my trading is dead. Or fucking FX replay. Alright, so we're back now. I had to take a minute to fix that, but let's watch. We come back above through the open. As you can see, we perfectly tap it. Now we are in premium. I don't expect price to continue up all the way up there. If it does, then that's way better. We take that high right there. And I want to see, does 930 like to give us any short move? 930, sir. Sir, 930. What is this? What is this? Okay. So, right off the bat, starting to look for displacements now. And you can see how slow it is. That's why I always only trade 930. So at 8:30 we get a lot of movement. I want 9:30 to open, sweep this high and go lower. Will it give me that? It sweeps. 9:10 is moving higher, close to the fair value gap, and then just complete utter rippage lower. On the 5 minutes, we've inversed this level right here. I want to put an entry right there. Take this all the way lower again. Taps me in right here. Does not stop me out. This time I put my stop all the way up here. I could have put it all the way at top of the inversion, but I always like to put it higher so there's kind of more room to breathe. Now, since this is a bigger trade, this level right here will be my break even and partial level. So if I get that, there we go, break even, partial, done. And then we can just kind of just watch it rip lower all the way down. Look at these trades, man. Beautiful. Beautifully catching every single one just by understanding how price works. Now, after this, I'm gonna go through one more day, see if we can get any setups. Okay. Let's go on the daily, real quick. Where are our draws? So we reached this one, but if we wanted to bounce back up from this one, then we wouldn't be so bearish on these days. Are we going to target this level? Are we going to target this level? And are we later going to target this level? Right here. Let's find out. So going back down again, I want to trade this whole week before we end the video. And you can see what having a clear bias does. I have a bias and I'm just trading towards it, right? I'm literally just trading towards, did not mean to move that one. I'm just trading towards these two lows. Now I'm waiting for the next day open. I don't give a shit what price does here. Really don't care. And let's go on the 4 hour. We have this one right here. I'm good to mark that one out. And okay, that's the only one that we really have. And daily, let me see what the daily looks like. Okay, good to know. So that's our 4 hour fair value gap right up there. Do we want to tap it, or do we want to be extremely bearish with the order flow? What the hell? Or do we just want to continue lower? Let's see. And the only way we'll find that out is using the lower time frame. Can I draw something now? Nice, I can. Finally, 9:30 right there. Where is our true day open? The magnets, the anchor. Just right there. Marking this out. Dragging it a little further. And now let's just let price do what it wants. We're going close to that level. Just kind of rejecting this placement. And I think we just move without getting an entry here. This one right here was a very clean displacement, but once again, guys, I do not trade 9:30. Okay, 9:30 bounces back up. Here, I could look for shorts. Why could I look for shorts? Because we have tapped the anchor. We have tapped the anchor, and now price could give us an entry. Let's see what it does. So, pretty slow. Sweeps that level again. And I'm just going to watch what price does. I don't really trade times like this, but in this case, I think it wouldn't be the worst idea ever. Okay, we are back into testing land level, by the way, and this box right here is acting somewhat like a breaker block for us right now. So 3 minutes. This entire level becomes an order block. We could use that as an entry, and also this level actually. If we get a close below it, this could be an inversion. And then I would use this to target previous day's lows. right there. I don't want to just target this. We could, doesn't really make a difference, but I prefer just targeting the previous day's lows. And I just literally, all I do is I use the daily candles as a range. So this is enough. As you can see here, we close below the inversion, this little fair value gap here, and we create an inversion. So this would be an entry for me. And since it's a little miss here, I want to put my stop all the way up here. Do we move toward my draw liquidity, or do we stop me out? And you may be wondering, Androgen, there's not a clear level here. Where would you partial? Where would you break even? In levels like this, I let price create PD arrays for me to find my answer. So in this case, here I would just go break even. Why? Look at these up candles. Those are acting as somewhat of a continuation order block. Once this level is respected and we use it to push lower, then I would break even. Now this level is my stop loss. I want to see it respected, and you can see here it gets respected and continues lower. And obviously partials wherever, honestly, it's a 4R, it doesn't really matter. And TP hits. Last day, guys, Friday. What does Friday want to do? Does Friday want to finally give us the low? And it's pretty close. The low is pretty close. Let's find out. So going on to Friday now. Let's go on the 15 minutes. Moving on to Friday took the low, but actually, whoa. Thursday just took both of them. So I guess we could have targeted both of them. Damn. And that's our draws on liquidity hit, boys. Not much else needed. Not much else really needed to say. Actually, wait, is this? It is Thursday, but it's also Friday because the Friday candle opens here. The Friday candle opens here. So Friday just opened its daily candle and just shifted lower and just decided to nuke. And I doubt it wants to do anything for the rest of the day. Our draw on liquidities are hit. I would now wait for the next week to then find opportunities as to what price wants to do. But yeah, we pretty much just took all of our draws on liquidity. And now, if price wants to shift, now it could. Also, let's see if we could have found setups here at 9:30 once again, you know, and you can see how the same pattern repeated. We came back into the daily open right up there and then bounced back. So this is why I always use these two true opens, which is the daily open and the midnight open. You can see how we use it as a magnet, go back above it, and then completely nuke lower. Pretty clean, but once again, my draws are hit. I am not interested in anything until I find more setups. And now from here, I would say from here, we've tapped the monthly fair value gap. We could either reach into the other monthly fair value gap, or we can just send it all the way up there. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this video helped you.